Hey guys, what's going on? Joe here, 690 ADV, 690ADV.com, radio 690 ADV. All you female riders out there, this is episode 1. We actually have a special guest today on our podcast, female rider, Story Moto ADV, Bonnie Johnson. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. Anyway, Bonnie Johnson, Story Moto ADV. Her husband, their kids, out riding, touring the country, doing stuff, kind of living on bikes. It's kind of a weird deal, but they make it work. And it's not as easy as it looks. And I'm sure that she will comment in and let you know that it's just, it's not just rainbows and Skittles out there, but, it is fun and it is a learning process. And I think it's really kind of cool. And they can actually make that work, which is very tough. So anyway, without further ado, Bonnie, how you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. And anyway, so you guys have probably seen my videos. We're pushing 100 videos, but one of my best videos out there, and a lot of you female riders and new riders, the XT250. That little dual sport that can. That bike is fantastic. It is so much fun, and it's her bike that I did the video on, and it's just so much fun, and it's such a great bike. The part that sucks is that it's not here, and I really wanted her to bring it back, but they had some obligations. They had to go to Florida, and they're passing back through Dallas, getting back to where everything is at. And I was hoping to get a secondary pickup on that bike and do another review on it just after the fact. I think it just would have been just fantastic. But it's not here, but it is Bonnie's bike. And she not only has that bike, she also had the other review that I did, the X300, which was her bike too. So, and she had that one for a little while. How did you like that X300, Bonnie?
That was my first bike. The first bike I bought.
Yeah. I mean, when you do your first bike and all that stuff, it's awesome because, when you're a new rider and you're getting into this stuff, it's one of those things, it's a learning process. You just don't get on and you're doing wheelies down the road and stuff like that. But it was kind of a bigger bike, especially because you're a little old lady. And, how was it for you when you got on that bike, when you first started on that X300? We'll talk about the X250 in a minute, but I want to talk about the 300. I'm not going to get into too much detail about it, but I want her to explain it to the other ladies and smaller riders that are out there, how that bike was, how it felt, and how you kind of overcame, your fear of riding on a bike of that size, because it's really not as little as you think. I mean, it is a smaller bike and you can adventure on it, but what were some of the things that you did to overcome your fear of riding a bike of that size? Because you came off of little dirt bikes that Billy J and we had and used to ride on those. So what was it like to get on that bike?
Yeah, when I bought the Versus X300, it was I'd say about a year and a half after I actually started riding. Right. And I started on like a 90.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that little Yamaha 90. That thing was fantastic. Yep. It's such a fun bike.
And then moved up to a 110 and then 125. So probably the biggest bike that I'd been on before the X300 was a 250. And that was at my class,
And can you, and this is really funny because we were on a long moto trip and I want you to explain this to just show you of what you can do if you put your mind to it. Let me kind of go we're going to back up just a little bit. What did you do while we were on our moto trip? You only rode dirt bikes, but what did you do? You went and got what? Your moto license, correct?
Yeah,
all by yourself. That was the craziest thing. Nobody does that.
Yep, you guys were out on your man trip, and I was like, this is the perfect time. I've got 2 weeks to myself, and I went out and did the test and did it on I think it was a DRZ 250 or.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Either I don't. Well, we weren't there, but I think I remember you said it was either a DRZ or a KLX or one of those bikes. But that just goes to show you guys that you don't have to have somebody push you in a direction. If you have the mindset and you are ready and you think you can do it, just go do it. I mean, she came out of a dirt bike all by herself. Nobody said, "Hey, go get your license" or anything like that. New rider, dirt bikes, never been on the street, goes out, fills out the paperwork, and goes and literally she didn't take it 2 or 3 times. No. One time, nailed it.
aced it.
And that's really the cool thing, just to show you. And that's the cool thing about dual sports, is because Bonnie got to see what myself and Billy J has done over all the years, and she wanted a piece of that. And now she is part of that club, and it's fantastic. So what do you think about dual sporting? I mean, in your mind, I mean, how does it make you feel when you're on that bike and you're out in it?
It's one of the reasons why I chose the XT250 and sold the Versus X300.
Right.
Because I just really felt like we were going to spend most of our time off-road.
Right.
And that we were only going to be doing a certain amount of miles a day, since we have a 5-year-old on a motorcycle.
Exactly.
So I really thought that it would be the best choice for the type of riding we were going to be doing.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, and you got a smoking deal. You picked it up out of Oklahoma. Really good people that you got it from. Got it back to Dallas, and that's when I got my chance to kind of jump on it and test it out, and everybody got to see the video from it. That's why I call it the little dual sport that could, because if you've never ridden that bike, there's something about it that just, it's not going to do wheelies up and down the road, but you know what it's going to do? It's going to do everything you ask it to do. It is such a fun bike.
Everything you need it to do.
Yeah, everything. And not only that, if you got to see it stripped down, it only had a few things on it. She has that sucker packed up like a frickin' mule that is ready to basically take all the house goods everywhere. You know, so, and to let you know, I mean, you can actually pull miles on that bike too. You know, Billy J, whenever it was purchased, basically went to Oklahoma, picked it up, and basically just straight rolled it all the way back to Dallas. I don't know how many miles it was. It was close to Tulsa. So it was quite a few miles, you know, a straight run. And it really is going to be in your setup on the bike. And what kind of seat do you have on that bike, Bonnie?
Seat Concept. Came
And
with the
it
bike
is.
when I bought it. It's awesome. I've never, not 1 mile, noticed any discomfort.
Right,
on
right.
the bike.
That seat concept, I say it all the time. It's on my KTM. It's on my CRF 250L, and it's on her bike. And like I said, when I rode it, it's just fantastic. She's got a little bit of a wide seat, which is really, really nice. And it's just very comfortable, you know, and I could see where she likes that, you know, but you can pack that bike down, which is really, really cool. So that's why I want to talk about the XT250. And we have her here in studio, which is really, really nice because you get to hear it from her, as she's not a new rider anymore, but she's still a novice rider, getting better day by day. And she's out in it. She's in the area that everybody wants to go to. And now we're going to we're going to get her feeling of what it's like to be out in where the guys go every year to basically ride and get out in it, as everybody loves to steal my word, in the thick. So, Bonnie, what is it like whenever you basically packed up, rode out of Dallas, and you guys ended up, and what states did you go through?
We went through Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, then down to Arizona.
Right. You did do some Utah, because I know for a fact you went through Utah, because there are pictures of that bike in my most favorite place on the entire planet. And where would that place be, Bonnie?
Valley of the Gods.
Valley of the Gods. And what happened to Valley of the Gods, Bonnie? We had a little episode there. I'm going to let you explain it, and then we're going to because there's a video out on Story Moto ADV. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Just type in those words. You can go directly to it, and you can check out all their videos. But Bonnie had a little mishap on a day ride coming back. They were headed back to camp, and but they were camping there for multi-day. So they didn't just get there. They were actually kind of just running around, toying and playing around. But something happened. What happened, Bonnie?
All right, first I have to start like at the beginning.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
Which is like before we set off on this trip, like all my dirt riding had been Florida. So it's like,
which is none.
Yeah,
it's like sand.
Flat, straight trails.
Yeah.
Or street riding. So going into Utah, like just even when we set off here, it was like completely, everything was new. Like the hills,
it's bigger.
Switchbacks, every part of it was like a new experience. So getting to Utah, like I wasn't, like the gravel was different, the hills were different, just every part of it.
And elevation.
Yes.
Yeah, because that literally, the elevation, the roads, and how big it is. You know, the YouTube videos, everybody goes out and watches the YouTube videos and says, man, that's a man. but it really is big. It gets real
it's
big out
huge.
there.
And it's like, it's completely different than going down a road where you're like covered in pine trees versus
Right.
a vast landscape
Exactly.
with no end.
Right.
That you're tempted to look at constantly.
Exactly, because it's so big and so beautiful. You're riding, and it's so beautiful that when you're on some of these mountain roads, you know, you want to see it, but you still have to pay attention.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a catch-22 because you want to see it so bad, but sometimes you're on some of those sheer roads that you just really have to focus and just blow through it, and it's just one of those things. But anyway, back to the incident at hand. You were at Valley of the Gods, and kind of just explain what happened, so we can kind of clear the air of everybody with their speculation and think they know what happened. We're going to give you firsthand from the rider it happened to.
We had set up camp. We'd been there for a couple days, and we'd gone out for day rides. And this particular day, we went out for a day ride and came back to camp, and we're planning on, that was the end of it for the night.
It usually never works out that way.
Yeah. And then it was a beautiful sunset, and we were like, let's hop on the bikes and head back out. And
right.
we had all I had geared off, you know, pretty much taken off everything except for I had taken my boots off and had put my camp shoes on and was ready to just chill.
Yeah, I get it, because I've done the same thing. You know, we have been, and I do the same thing. You know, it's nice because you get back, you know, and you're sitting for a few minutes. You're like, you know what, I just want to do one more little ride. But your boots get really uncomfortable when you wear them all day, so you take them off and you don't think about it. So you put on your shoes and then you just took off. So I understand that. You know, most everybody that gave you a hard time or gave Billy J a hard time about that, you know what? We all understand that, you know what, you should always wear your boots. But you know what, there's just times when you've been riding all day and you go and relax for a few and then you decide, you know what, I want to go kick one little round out. You don't think about that. Your shoes are off and then you hopped back on your bike, and then what happened after that?
Well, pretty much like the whole day that I'd been riding, since I'd only been like on like Florida trails and street, like for the most part, I was feeling like I was taking corners the wrong way.
Right.
Like that I was leaning too far into corners like you do on the street.
Sure.
And so I kept that in my mind, but I really didn't know how to correct that. Mm-hmm. But I had been thinking about that the whole time. And then we went out for that last ride, and I feel like I was going too fast, like my mojo was on, and I was just feeling it.
And that happens too, because you get all excited. You're like, God, I'm nailing it, man.
Yeah.
I know, because I've done it, and I've had a couple of pucker factors. You know what? And I've gotten lucky. It just so happens you didn't get lucky. But anyway, finish your story.
So we were, and this was literally like the first time that I'd ever done like any kind of dry riverbeds or anything like that,
right.
and never been in gravel like there is on those roads. And so when I came up around that corner, I think it was a combination of things. Like I think I was going too fast, but also I feel like I was leaning into the turns, and I overcompensated.
Right.
In the turn, like overcorrected myself.
Yeah.
And that's really all I know about it. The next thing I know, I was on the ground.
Yeah, you bounced, everything happened. You know, I've slowed that video down several times. You were moving. And, you know, especially for those types of roads, you know, I mean, you were going pretty good because.
I think I was around 45.
Yeah, because I was watching the film footage, you know, coming from the KTM. And usually Billy is not one to let people lead. He usually is the guy that likes to blow and go, but so he even mentioned it too. He goes, she was nailing it. And when I slowed the video down, and he slowed it down in the video too. You guys go check it out, Story Moto ADV at YouTube, and you can watch it yourself. But my assessment was I saw the rear end slightly move. I saw the front end basically got overcorrected just a little bit. I don't think there was any way to save the bike, to be quite honest with you. I think it was inevitable that the failure was going to happen, and the bike came out. Boots, no boots. Granted, you know, I can sit there until the cows come home and say, you know what, Bonnie, you should have wore your boots. And she already knows she should have been wearing her boots. But at the end of the day, guess what? You weren't there. You weren't riding. So, you know, everybody that wrote those rough comments, you know, you need to kind of get a life. So it was kind of fun, you know, and this is their first trip. And you know what? Everybody crashes. That's the way it works with motorcycle riders. You know, if you're not crashing, you're not learning. So, you know, and I'm not saying that means you got to crash every time you go out, but every time that you fail, you get better. And that's the way it works. And would you agree with that, Bonnie?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Billy and Zane have been riding since they were 4, so, you know, it's a lot to step up to when I'm riding with them, but that challenges you to be a better rider and pushes you.
Right.
You know?
No, exactly.
You learn way more.
Yeah, you know, and that's just one of those things, you know, if we can all just get over this, and like I said, that's what the 690 ADV is all about. It doesn't matter if, you know, you're riding on a little 50cc motorcycle in your backyard all the way up to, you know, a 990 KTM, you know, or a big old Harley. It doesn't really matter. You know, if we can all just get over this, you know, I'm the best in the world. And if you don't ride what I ride, you know, you suck and all these things, you know, that's really what it's not about. At the end of the day, we all had to learn somewhere and we all had to start somewhere. And, you know, if there was a little bit more encouragement and a little bit more help out there, you know, it'd be so much more enjoyable when people go out and do this stuff. And there'd be a whole lot less hesitation for people to go out and actually try to ask questions for this stuff, because that's really what this is all about. It's not 690 ADV. Story Moto is very much the same thing. Be polite, be courteous, and help people, because if you're not helping, then you're the problem. And if you're the problem, you just need to just go away in our eyes. So, but anyway, we got Bonnie here. Like I said, she's not going to be here for very much longer. They're fixing to head back out. We're going to have another episode coming up as soon as I can catch up with Billy J. And I want to talk with him a little bit because we got some pretty cool stuff I need to ask him. And it's going to be good stuff. Like I said, this is what this is about. And this is why we started a podcast, so we can get information about other people and what they're doing. And like I said, Bonnie is a novice rider. She's not a beginner anymore, but she took the initiative to do the work. And like I always say in my videos, if you can get your head wrapped around it, you can do it. Anyway, Bonnie, when are you heading out?
We're heading out tomorrow.
Gotcha.
Heading towards Arizona, picking up our bikes.
Gotcha. And I think they're in Flag, right?
Yep. They're in Flag. We're very excited to get back to them.
Gotcha. And when I get out there, you will be cooking me what?
Macaroni and cheese.
I'm all about the mac and cheese. She knows it. That will be macaroni and cheese. Oh, by the way, she just got a brand new cooking set. I want you to talk about that cooking set because you already tested it. She got a new titanium. You know what? I'm going to let her tell you about it. It's really cool. And I want to have some more stuff with her later. This is just the first one. She is #1 on the podcast. But she's got some cool stuff coming up, cookbooks and all this other stuff. We'll mention it later. It's not done yet, but when it does, we're going to let you guys know about it. But talk about your cookie set and how it's going to help you out when you guys are camping.
I did a lot of research to try to find the best thing for us, and that's like cooking for 5 people at once, which is a lot of cooking.
Yeah.
It's way different than, you know, out in the wild than in a kitchen. So the one I got was Evernew Titanium.
Gotcha.
And
we'll put a link down.
light.
Yeah, we'll put a link down there in the podcast so you can go to that. If you're looking for that type of stuff. But I know she did a lot of research on it, but I think you did some testing on it, right?
I did. I've done like 3 different meals in it, and like I've been able to, on their, I think it's a 1.9 liter set, I've done like
if you were to
cooking up for at least 5 people.
Yeah, like 1.9 liters. Put that into like a gallon
like
or
8 cups.
Okay, so 8 cups. Because a lot of people, a lot of Americans have a hard time understanding the liter system. Me too. I'm really bad about it. But if you put it into cups or gallons.
Yeah, like the pot's like almost 8 cups of water. So.
Yeah, so that's really, really, really close. You know, to, what is that? Let's see, 8 cups? Was that half a I don't know. I suck at that stuff. But
it's enough for 4 to 5 people to be very happy.
Right, exactly. And what was the material that it's made out of?
It's titanium. It's super light. I think it weighs like, it's ounces. It's nothing in your pack. Like even when the box came in, when it shipped in, it felt like you were picking up a feather. So.
Right. Now that's really cool because that's what it's all about. Light, tight, doing it right. You know, keep your pack as low as you can. Maximize the most that you possibly can with the least amount of weight. Trust me, everybody's done it. Everybody has overpacked in their, if they've ever actually went out and did an adventure. And keeping that stuff light is really fantastic. So, but like I said, they're fixed to be heading out tomorrow. and they're headed back towards Arizona, Flagstaff in that area, which Flag is decent riding, but it's pretty darn cold there right now. So they're going to be heading south. Bonnie, is that right? South?
Yep, Quartzsite area.
Gotcha.
And then back on up when it gets warm.
Yeah, get definitely elevation and stuff. So, but anyway, like I said, my name's Joe. This is Bonnie, and we appreciate your time. And it just goes to show you that, no matter what you want to do, you can do it if you'll put the time and the effort into it. And don't let people tell you that you can't. And if you ever have any issues or any problems, make no mistake. You can email me at 690adv@gmail.com, or you can do comments on our videos, comments on anything that we're talking about or anything that we're doing. You can also go to Story Moto ADV at YouTube. Check them out. They have a website. I think there's links there. You have links to all your stuff, right? Facebook, Instagram,
Yep.
right?
StoryMotoADV.com.
Gotcha. StoryMotoADV.com. And check them out. It's really good stuff. They got updates and stuff of what's going on in their world. And pretty cool. They'll go and show you that, if you want to do it, you can do it. You just got to put your mind to it. Bonnie, thanks for being here.
It's been a pleasure.
All right. Well, anyway, like I said, my name's Joe, 690 ADV, Radio 690 ADV. We appreciate your time at 690. We love you. You guys have a good one. Bye.